Hey guys, today we'll be covering the 2021 drama film called Confessions of an Invisible Girl. The movie begins with a girl named Tete fighting with another girl from her class as her drama-loving classmates cheer on. In the background, Tete narrates her story. She says today's nerds will become tomorrow's millionaires. The ugly ones will become attractive, pretty girls will become slobs, and the handsome guys will become fat and bald. In the future, no one will care if you were popular in high school or not. However, Tete hasn't made it to the future yet. Tete is taken to the principal's office along with the girl she was fighting with. The principal threatens Tete with expulsion, but she continues to claim innocence. However, the other girl calls Tete fake and claims that Tete envies her because she is an outcast, unpopular, and crazy. Deep down, Tete agrees that she's an outcast and unpopular, but not crazy. The movie then flashes back to the past, and it is revealed that Tete was born and raised in Barra de Tijuca, a neighborhood in Rio famous for its malls, gated communities, and beaches. Tete is that one girl in class whose voice is never heard. The only thing going great for Tete is her studies, as she always gets the highest scores in her class. There's a guy named Gustavo Sampaio who has the good looks but not the grades. So one day, he approaches Tete and asks her to tutor him. No one in her school ever talks to her, so Tete immediately agrees. Tete becomes hopeful that she will finally have a normal social life. She is a great teacher, and Gustavo's grades improve. However, she falls in love with him and one day tries to kiss him. Gustavo blocks her kiss, and the whole class witnesses Tete making a fool out of herself. Things are even worse at Tete's home. Tete's dad has lost his job and has to sell the family's Ocean View apartment. With no source of income, the family picks up their life and moves from Baja to Tete's grandparents Janira and Joaquin's place in Copacabana. Tete's antisocial nature worries her dramatic grandmother, and she advises her to see a psychiatrist. Tete's mother also chimes in and makes comments about Tete's sweaty armpits. The women in Tete's family also despise her mustache. Fortunately, Tete's dad and granddad always defend her from harsh criticism. On Tete's first day at her new school, it is extremely hot and her armpits sweat profusely. She takes off her top and wipes her armpits with an entire roll of toilet paper. To make matters worse, she is caught in the awkward situation by the school's most popular girl Valentina and her best friend Leish. Embarrassed, Tete quickly puts on her top and runs away. She carefully assesses the situation in her classroom and decides to sit behind the class nerd Davi. Since his parents' death, he has lived with his grandparents, and so he talks like a sophisticated old person. Davi also has an elder brother who studies at college in another city. Tete almost falls for Davi until she lays her eyes upon a guy named Eric. Eric plays in a band and loves to surf in his leisure time. Davi introduces Eric to Tete, and she makes a fool out of herself every time she opens her mouth. Val catches Tete explaining the meaning of her name to Eric, who is revealed to be her boyfriend. Val makes fun of Tete's name before kissing Eric. Val then records Tete and makes her explain the meaning of her name for her online followers. Tete immediately regrets it when Val laughs at her, and Leish convinces Val to delete the video, saying recording another student without their permission could result in expulsion. After Val leaves, Seka, who is openly gay and another outcast, enters the classroom. Tete invites him to sit behind her, and Davi introduces the two. Later, she meets another classmate named Samantha, and the two quickly bond. After school, Tete hangs out with Samantha, and she learns that Sam is the daughter of her grandmother's hairstylist. She is very happy that someone like Sam wants to talk to her, but she soon learns that her grandmother paid Sam to be her friend. Upset, she confronts her grandma, but the latter takes the opportunity to taunt Tete's mother for living with her parents. Tete's mother brushes her comments aside and asks Tete about her first day at school. Before bed, Tete stalks Eric's social media and accidentally likes his 2-year-old post. The next day, Tete douses herself with perfume to keep her armpits from stinking up her classroom. However, it backfires and makes Eric sneeze repeatedly. Embarrassed, Tete slowly walks away from him but ends up crashing into Val's ice cream, ruining her shirt in the process. Sam offers her an extra hoodie, and Tete reluctantly accepts it. As she changes into the hoodie in the washroom stall, Val arrives with Leish and talks badly about Tete. Val says she hates girls like Tete who appear nice and play the victim. She calls her hair greasy, stringy, and gross. Surprisingly, Leish takes Tete's side and defends her, saying it's not cool to pick on someone just because of the way they look. Val brings up Tete liking and unliking Eric's picture last night, but Leish tells her that she is too pretty to be acting jealous and having a rivalry with Tete. Tete tells Seka and Davi about the bathroom incident and calls herself a cockroach. The guys comfort her and warn her against self-deprecating. To distract her mind, Seka reveals that Sam and Val were once really close friends until they had a falling out over something. Later, Davi notices Leish listening to his favorite indie band, Star Generation. At home, Tete seeks her grandma's help to groom herself and decrease her sweating. This is music to the old lady's ears, and she takes her granddaughter to her yoga class and prepares special food for her that will decrease sweating. Tate's father also starts a new job, much to his mother-in-law's delight. Next day at school, Tate feels more confident, and when learns about Laish's sweet 16th birthday party, she looks to score an invitation. She tries, but she can't bring herself to ask Laish for an invitation. Later, Eric approaches Tate and her friends to ask if he can join their group for the biology project. Tate happily accepts the request on behalf of her group. Upon learning that Eric is going to be surfing after school, Tate convinces her friends to go to the beach so she could spend more time with her crush. Davi arrives late and reveals that he had to rush his grandfather to the hospital, which fortunately was just a health scare. Before leaving, Eric invites Tate and her friends to Laish's party. Davi says that he won't be coming to the party, citing his elder brother who's coming to town, but Tate convinces him to bring his brother to the party with him. The next day, Seka helps Tate wax her bushy eyebrows and mustache, while Tate lets Seka pick out a party dress for himself from her grandmother's trunk. Later, they are joined by Davi and his handsome brother, Dudu. Tate is instantly smitten by Dudu, but she realizes that her face has turned red after the waxing. She again self-deprecates, but Dudu assures her that she is beautiful. Dudu and Davi also pick out clothes for themselves, while Tate's mom and grandma help her get ready for the party. Tate looks drop-dead gorgeous, and Dudu compliments her before the group heads for the party. At the party, Eric plays with his band, and Tate sings along. He later joins the group and calls Tate beautiful. When everyone's busy dancing, Davi approaches Laish and gives her an autographed book from the Star Generation. Laish loves the gift, and the two gush over their favorite episodes and characters. However, before leaving with their mother, Laish asks Davi not to tell anyone that she likes nerdy stuff, much to Davi's dismay. Meanwhile, Tate has the time of her life dancing with Dudu. Later, the two also get to know each other. Unlike other boys, Dudu doesn't mind Tate telling him about her sweaty armpits or the rash on her hands. Instead, he makes her laugh and feel comfortable about herself. The two notice Davi sitting by himself and go over to comfort him. They quickly make him laugh. Samantha suddenly appears out of nowhere and asks her to accompany her to the washroom. Meanwhile, Val finds Eric missing from the party and starts looking for him. She interrupts Laish's mom taking pictures of Laish and her other friends, asking her to help find Eric. Val notices Tate outside the washroom and tries to go in, suspecting Eric's in there with Sam. Tate tries to convince her otherwise, but lo and behold, Eric emerges from the bathroom with Sam. However, he explains Sam wasn't feeling well and he was helping her. Val and Sam almost get into an argument, but Eric intervenes and calms Val down, while Tate takes Sam to another room. Sam maintains her innocence, saying she wasn't fooling around with Eric. Laish's mom walks in on the distressed girls looking for someone named Carol. When Laish's mom worries about them, Tate assures that they are fine. After Sam and Laish's mom leave, Tate looks at Laish's childhood pictures and learns that her name is Carol. She suddenly overhears Val talking trash about her classmates, including Eric, with Laish in the other room. Val says Eric has the brain of a little ant and calls her classmates losers. When Val notices Tate, she berates her for creeping up on her. When Tate asks why Val always acts so nasty towards her, Val says she hates her for flirting with Eric and calls her ugly and boring. Tate breaks into tears and decides to leave the party. Seeing this, Dudu calls a cab and takes her back home. He walks her to the door and asks if she is okay. Tate tells him that she incorrectly assumed all of her troubles would disappear once she makes friends, but she learned that it only makes things complicated. Dudu responds that when things get complicated, friends are what gets one through tough times. Tate agrees, and Dudu proceeds to make out with her, but she gets all awkward and leaves because no one's ever tried to kiss her before. The next day, Tate and her friends work on their biology project. Tate mingles with Davi's grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Ignacio. The latter tells Tate about Dudu's girlfriend. Tate almost chokes on her water, and Dudu clarifies that she's his ex-girlfriend. Eric arrives late and reveals that he has broken up with Val. Afterwards, Eric takes Tate to his band's rehearsal. She watches in awe as he performs shirtless. Before parting ways, Eric kisses her. The next day, Sam comes clean to Tate about making out with Eric. It turns out, Sam fell out with Val because Eric has a history of cheating on her with Sam. The revelation shocks Tate, and she confronts Eric. However, Eric claims that he's the victim of a sexist society that puts him on a pedestal by calling him handsome every day. The teacher arrives, and one by one the students reveal their presentations. However, when it's Tate's turn, the projector plays a secretly recorded video of Val calling Eric dumb and her classmates losers. When her classmates turn on her, Val attacks Tate, suspecting her of exposing her. The movie cuts back to the present, and the principal threatens to expel Tate's group from school if the person who illegally recorded Val isn't caught. Tate breaks down at the thought of being expelled. However, after crying her heart out, she suddenly realizes who could be behind it. It's Laish's mother, who was walking around Laish with her mobile phone. It's revealed that Val bullied Laish in elementary school, which forced the latter to move to the current school and undergo cosmetic surgery to gain her self-esteem back. Some years later, Val also moved to the same school, and Laish's mother decided to take revenge on her. Laish reveals that she didn't want revenge, but she had to leak the video to make Val understand the gravity of her words. Val initially denies her mistake, but she later comes around and apologizes to everyone, including Tay-Tay and Laish. The movie ends with Tay-Tay and her big group of friends playing and joking by the beach.